I love
Mhm,
what you were saying about how when women pour into themselves, they
mhm,
lift everyone else up.
mhm.
And I wanted to segue into a conversation about this pattern of women over functioning, over performing, over giving. This has to stop,
This
right?
has to
This has
stop.
to stop. So talk to me
Mhm,
about that and what you're seeing and how women can stop themselves from doing that
mhm.
and why it's so important to do that.
First of all, they have to really recognize that they do it, because it becomes such a habit. It's just what they do. I have a client right now who's struggling because she's creating her business and it's doing really well, but then she's got voices in her ear to make her worry about things. But things are going really well. And then she's like, "Well, I gotta do this for my husband, and I have to do this for my son," and things that they're very capable of doing themselves. Very capable. And my question is, well, why do you feel like you have to do it? Her son is like 12, 13. He's not a kid. There's lots of things he could do, but she does it. Or her husband too. And I'm like, the question is, where are you putting yourself aside and how is it really benefiting anybody? Are you benefiting your son by teaching him not to take care of himself, you know, not
Mhm.
to fulfill his own needs? Is that what he's to expect from a partner in life later? What are you teaching him? We have to think about that also because having a 10-month-old grandson is so clear. It's always been clear, but it's so clear watching him that children don't learn from what you tell them. They learn from what they observe and they imitate it. And so it's a question of what do you want the people around you to learn? What do you want them to know about you? How do you want them to feel about you? That you're a pushover? That you can, ask Francesca, she'll do it. No, no, Francesca can't do that right now. I just said it to I have a 15-year-old grandson, and I have to say, I can't do that today. And then he tries to negotiate with me, and I'm like, Joey, I can't do it today. I may have a space of time in there that I could do what he wanted to do, but that's not going to benefit me. I need to rest because I've had a busy day. I need to rest, and I have to honor me. And it's not life or death. These things are not life or death. No, it could be life. It could be life or death for that woman who's not taking care of herself. And I can say this from my own example. 20 some odd years ago, you know this story, Heather. I had fourth stage uterine cancer, 100% from stress.
Welcome back to the Cycle Starters podcast. I'm your host, Heather, and today's returning guest is someone whose work sits right at the intersection of where ancestral healing meets the
Mhm,
reclamation of self. And honestly, that's the exact territory we live in on this show.
mhm.
Francesca James is an intuitive guide and somatic-energetic practitioner, the founding director of I Am Woman, the women's ministry of Agape International Spiritual Center, and the author of Resurrecting the Muse, A Woman's Guide to Rising Above Societal Conditioning. For decades, she has guided people through overwhelm and disconnection back to what she calls their original soul print, the truth of who you are beneath the noise, the roles, and the expectations the world handed you. Her current offering, Liberating Woman,
Mhm.
Decoding the Subconscious, is a 6-week live experience designed to help women identify the conditioning they've been living from, the inherited beliefs, the subconscious patterns, the subtle ways we override our own knowing, and replace all of that with what is actually true for them, not what they were taught to want, what they know. If you've done the deep ancestral and trauma work and you're ready to stop performing your healing and actually embody your power, this conversation is going to land. And stay with us to the end. I'll be giving Francesca a mini galactic astrology reading, so you'll get to see how the cosmos reflects her soul's blueprint live on the show. So before we get into today's conversation, I have a favor to ask. If you are enjoying the content that we are creating here on the Cycle Starters podcast, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really helps the algorithm get our content in front of more viewers. Also, please follow me on Substack. My publication is called The Cycle Architect, and I think Francesca and I are going to do a Substack live shortly within the next week or so. That's going to be for paid subscribers. That show is called The Cycle Architect Sessions. So without further ado, let's welcome Francesca back to the show. Hi, my
Yay.
friend.
Hello, glad to be back. Good to see
Hey.
you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see you. Thanks again for being open to being on the show for a second
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
How have you been since you were last on the show? I mean, it's been about a year.
Been a year. It's been an interesting year, huh? I've been good, actually. Clients have been very traumatized and distressed, but I'm not going there with them because I know that there's a higher order that's happening. And, I'm always listening to that. That's just what I do. And it brings me comfort. So, I have a new grandbaby
And
over the last year. Life
congratulations.
is good. A lot of family time. Life has just been good for me. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well,
Mhm.
so in our last conversation on the show, we talked about your ancestral healing journey. Can you remind our viewers about your ancestry, like your blood ancestors, where they're from?
Well, I don't remember all the specifics, but I know that I am 70% African from various places. And a little, the colonizer energy is in there. There's some
Mm-hmm.
British, there's some Spanish, there's some Portuguese. There's a little bit of Indian, a little bit of Italian, but I'm mostly African from, Ghana, Nigeria, just many places in
Gotcha.
Africa.
Perfect.
And I
Okay.
identify with that truly, honestly, that feels right to me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So it's probably 70% West African, it sounds like. Okay. All right. Well, so I want to talk to you about this wonderful offering that you've
Mm.
created. And so tell me what inspired you to create this container of healing and empowerment for women?
Looking at the world, that has inspired me because I don't know how many years I've been saying, Heather, to women, if you can't see that your voice is needed, when are you ever gonna see it? I've been saying this for years, and I real like, if you can't see it now, you're never gonna see it because woman has been conditioned. And it's not just in this country, because I have clients in other countries that experience the same thing. Women have been conditioned to behave in a certain way, to think in a certain way, to support in a certain way, and to dismiss their own intuitive guidance. How can that be right? How can it be right that we dismiss our own inner guidance? And so the class is called Liberating Woman, Decoding the Subconscious. Because what is true is that there's a conscious mind and there's a subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind just plays. It just plays without thought. It just plays. And we don't even realize that we're moving from something that's operating subconsciously, but we can become conscious of something different and operate from there. And that's my goal, is for us to become conscious and not be in fear of speaking our truth and living from our truth and knowing that we're guided to do so. It's all about that.
Beautiful. Well, as you mentioned, the world is pretty chaotic right now.
Mhm,
We've had many conversations about how the old world is collapsing. And I think you mentioned
mhm,
that a lot of your current clients are really struggling right now,
mhm,
right? In
mhm,
terms of maintaining their peace, their composure, just
mhm,
managing their energy. How are
mhm.
you navigating these times
For
to
myself?
yeah, for yourself? I mean, I think the people are yearning for a way to anchor themselves, right? To
Mhm,
not be blowing in the wind with
Mhm.
everything going on. So, how have you been navigating it?
I've been internal always, since childhood, and I just remain internal. I just don't buy into the narrative. I look at what's happening and I see it and I understand it, but I understand it in a way that the old is dying.
Mhm.
And there's that word chaotic, so it's chaos because order comes from chaos. It has to break apart like a detox. And so I'm always asking, what is my part to play? What are you asking of me? What is my part to play? Because I'm not a politician. I'm not going to step into politics. And I'm not going to march because I did that way long ago. What is my part to play? And a huge part of my part to play is to help other people to realize that there's something inside of them to listen to and to follow and to allow it to be their guidance. And that's everybody, but that's women in particular because we're the ones who've been knocked over there. It's front and center now. And it starts with you for yourself in your own environment. Doesn't mean you have to step out politically or in this big arena. It's like, what are you doing in your own environment? That vibration elevates everybody. It buoys us up one person at a time. So take the role, in your environment, whatever that is. It could be your work environment, it could be home, family, your community, whatever it is, whatever your environment is, take that role. Listen, don't dismiss your guidance. And Heather, as you know, guidance will tell you some things that you go, huh? Like what? You want me to do what? You follow it anyway, and then you go, oh, that's why. You got
Yeah.
to follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I want to know from you, because you are an amazing teacher around all of this. How would you identify, what is intuitive guidance versus old subconscious patterns coming up, right? Like old fears, how your nervous system was just wired at birth. How do you distinguish between those two things?
I've just been talking about this on TikTok
Okay, perfect.
because, yeah, knowing drops in. It drops in and it's very clear. Then we start to question it. And that's connected to the past. We start to say, well, that was my experience in the past, or I don't know how people are going to think about that, or what are people going to say, or let me ask so and so what they think about this. Or, we go through this whole intellectualizing of things, but the knowing dropped in and you heard it. You can either dismiss it, put it on the back burner, or you can go with it. But it drops in. It's a matter of learning to trust it and then you honor it. Otherwise, it's intellectualizing, it's questioning, it's bargaining, it's doing all of that. But knowing is just is like, yeah, I heard it. And it's never a long conversation. If
Right.
there's a long conversation happening, that's you intellectualizing because the intuition, it just drops in. It's quick, it's light, it's a word or two. It just isn't this whole thing that you go through. It's just not that.
Yeah, what I'm hearing you say is that when intuitive guidance drops in, it's clean, right?
Mhm,
There's no charge to it, there's no
mhm,
drama around it.
mhm,
Okay, well, so
mhm,
that's really
mhm,
helpful. I
mm,
love that you were saying about how when women pour into themselves, they
mhm,
lift everyone else up.
mhm.
And I wanted to segue into a conversation about this pattern of women over functioning, over performing, over giving. This has to stop,
This
right?
has to
This has
stop.
to stop. So, talk to me
Mhm,
about that and what you're seeing and how women can stop themselves from doing that
mhm.
and why it's so important to do that.
First of all, they have to really recognize that they do it, because it becomes such a habit. It's just what they do. I have a client right now who's struggling because she's creating her business and it's doing really well, but then she's got voices in her ear to make her worry about things. But things are going really well. And then she's like, "Well, I gotta do this for my husband, and I have to do this for my son," and things that they're very capable of doing themselves. Very capable. And my question is, well, why do you feel like you have to do it? Her son is like 12, 13. He's not a kid. There's lots of things he could do, but she does it. or her husband too. The question is, where are you putting yourself aside, and how is it really benefiting anybody? Are you benefiting your son by teaching him not to take care of himself, you know, not
Mhm.
to fulfill his own needs? Is that what he's to expect from a partner in life later? What are you teaching him? We have to think about that also, because having a 10-month-old grandson is so clear. It's always been clear, but it's so clear watching him that children don't learn from what you tell them. They learn from what they observe and they imitate it. And so it's a question of, what do you want the people around you to learn? What do you want them to know about you? How do you want them to feel about you? That you're a pushover? That you can, ask Francesca, she'll do it. No, Francesca can't do that right now. I have to say this to I have a 15-year-old grandson, and I have to say, I can't do that today. And then he tries to negotiate with me, and I'm like, Joey, I can't do it today. I may have a space of time in there that I could do what he wanted to do, but that's not going to benefit me. I need to rest because I've had a busy day. I need to rest, and I have to honor me. It's not life or death. These things are not life or death. No, could be life. It could be life or death for that woman who's not taking care of herself. And I can say this from my own example. 20 some odd years ago, you know this story, Heather. I had 4th stage uterine cancer, 100% from stress.
Mm.
Because my doctors were like, you're not on the list of somebody that should have uterine cancer. I loved my job and I was present fully for my job. I had my family that I adored. So as a woman, you leave the job and you go home to the job because you got a family to take care of. I had a new husband and a stepson, and there were just all these things. And I loved everything that I was doing. And I thought that I was taking care of myself because I did the things. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I practiced yoga and I meditated before I went to my job. But I wasn't carrying any of that with me. It wasn't going with me. It's what I did. I experienced it. And then I kind of left it in the chair as I got back into the stress mode. So it's all about being conscious. It's all about being conscious of who we are, what we're doing, what we are providing for ourselves. Because who's thinking about you, woman, really, if you're not thinking about yourself? What are you demonstrating? If you're not demonstrating how to treat me, you're demonstrating something that you don't want. So it's about being conscious. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. Well, so tell me more about the class. So this is a 6-week
Hmm.
experience. What should
Hmm.
folks expect to get out of it when they sign up?
It just kind of takes you through the idea of there being a subconscious mind and a conscious mind, and what subconscious has put into woman's mind, into her experience, and how it has done it so subtly, and how we don't even recognize it. So it's a matter of learning to recognize it and learning to hear the intuitive guidance that goes along with recognizing it, and creating a practice to hear and to move from that guidance. And you know, it really it's a letting go. It's a letting go and an embracing all at the same time. It's letting go of what woman knows doesn't serve her. She knows it. She knows it for the most part, that she's doing too much and that she's not what they say she is because she operates in a particular way, but she's not comfortable enough to just be truly who she is because of fear, worry, concern. And so it's really delving into all aspects of that to come out on the other end 6 weeks later, changed, different, moving through the world in a different way for your own benefit, which benefits everybody else.
Beautiful. All right. So
Mm.
this is a virtual experience, right? I'm going to put the link in the show notes for people who are interested.
If somebody needs to do a one-on-one of the series, I do that as well. But it's good to have it in class because you feed off of each other. You recognize yourself through someone else. And then I put them in breakout rooms periodically for different advancement. So it's good to do it in class, but it can be done one-on-one as well. So what they would do is they would go to the link, they'd look at the class, they see what it's about, and then send me a message. Let me know their level of interest and what they're thinking, or if they have questions. I'll answer any question that anyone has about it.
Perfect.
Because Heather, it's just I don't think anything's more important to me right now than come on, women, come on. It's like even in politics, people talk about, well, so and so could have done this and so, but I'm like, no, she couldn't have because she's walking in masculine energy. She's not going to make any change. We need to elect women who know who they are, who know how to move through that system in their true nature without being in fear. And you don't find that too often.
All right. Well,
And it could be men. It could be a man. It could be a man. It doesn't have to be a woman. It could be a man who understands that part of himself and the truth about what is needed in the world. It doesn't have to be in a female body, but it has to be that energy. It's the energy that we're talking about.
totally. And female bodied beings, male bodied beings, we all have our own unique balance of divine masculine and divine
Hmm.
feminine energy, right? It's just going to
Absolutely.
vary from
Yes.
person to
Yes.
person. So, yes, absolutely. Men who are in touch with their feminine energy,
Hmm.
yeah, they're going
Hmm.
to be better leaders for sure.
Right. Hmm.
And oh my gosh, I mean, we could do a whole other episode on, you know, women over functioning in their masculine energy,
Yes. Yes.
for
Yeah.
so many different reasons. I mean,
Yeah.
society
Well,
rewards us, our fathers reward us for doing
yes.
that.
And, many moons ago, when we really began to step out into the workplace, it was what we needed to do in order to be there.
Yeah.
I can say that for myself. I was in corporate America a long time ago. When I first went into corporate America, there weren't as many positions for women. There certainly weren't positions for Black women. And so you have to learn how to operate like the big boys do. How do I do this? Okay. Yeah, well, but that's not where we are now, but we're still doing the same thing. Sometimes I talk to young women, I'm like, "This is still existing?" I'm just surprised. The road was paved. Aren't you walking on it? We don't have to be that anymore. Those days can be behind us. So that's why it's learn to do it in your own world, to do it in your own world, and then take it out into the greater part of your world.
Awesome. All right. Well, so for folks who are inspired, who are feeling called, I will put the link to Francesca's class in the show notes. And then you are on TikTok as well, and you're on Instagram, right?
I'm on Instagram. I'm mostly on TikTok, but sometimes send things from TikTok to Facebook that sends it to Instagram. I never just go post to Instagram, but I'm there.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we'll put your
TikTok is my world, and I'm now moving to Substack.
I know. I'm
Yes, right.
excited. Okay, so I will be sure to put all of those links in the show notes. I want to
Mhm.
transition now to your mini galactic reading. Are you ready to
Oh,
hear
yes,
this?
I'm ready, yes.
Okay, perfect. So, for those of you who are new to the show, I am an astro ancestral healing guide and a quantum soul guidance galactic astrology practitioner. So, the way I would differentiate galactic astrology from traditional tropical Western astrology is that galactic astrology just adds an outer layer of fixed stars, supracosmic points, nebulas, and black holes to the traditional chart. And so it speaks to your soul's journey over eons of time. So we're looking at not only past lives on Earth, but we're looking at past lives that are off planet.
Mm.
My highest tier membership is the Cosmic Awakening Circle. Francesca has been a guest teacher inside that membership before. You can watch her workshop that she taught over a year ago, as that's in the resource library. So that is my highest tier membership on Substack. So definitely follow the Cycle Architect to get more information on how to join, how to participate. I love working with astrology not as the rule, but as a tool, as a
Mm.
language and a framework for understanding yourself on an ancestral healing journey. And last year, I really got the call to expand my notion of ancestors beyond our blood ancestors to our star
Mhm.
ancestors. So that was my inspiration for all of this. And you had a very interesting chart. And I want to share with you just a few highlights. I mean, there was a lot going on, but this is what I feel called to share with you now. So,
Okay.
the first thing I do when I'm looking at a galactic report, and by the way, everybody can pull their own galactic report for free on galacticastrochart.com. if you want deeper insights, if you want someone to put together a story around all of that, that's when you come to me when I would give you a reading. But the first thing I do when I look at a galactic report is that I scan for certain galactic life themes. And you fell into one of these categories. So you fall into the teacher, speaker, influencer theme. Surprise, surprise. So
Yeah, right.
I'm not a huge fan of Tony Robbins at all, but he has those markers in his galactic report as well. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, I think when I look at your galactic placements, what comes through so clearly is this signature of the liberator, the
Mm.
visionary, the leader, and the truth speaker. And I really feel that it aligns so beautifully with the work that you're bringing forward right now. So, your midheaven, which is the very top of the chart, this speaks to what you're known for in the world, your contributions. And your midheaven is in the sign of Gemini, which is mutable air. This is the communicator. This is the teacher. This is the writer, somebody who's really curious about life, who loves to be in conversation, who loves to learn. So your midheaven in Gemini is conjunct the star Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse in the Orion constellation. And so the Orion star system carries this energy of intelligence, strategy, and resilience, this ability to navigate complexity and turn challenge into mastery. And Betelgeuse, in particular, has this quality of very high level thinking and achievement. And with this in Gemini, your voice, your ideas, and your communication are central to your visibility. You are someone who is meant to teach, to articulate, and translate very powerful concepts in a way that reaches people and moves them forward. So, good thing you're on TikTok because you're right, you're talking to everybody and it's great. So, your Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, it speaks to where you shine in your spiritual development. Your Jupiter is in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of the leader, the initiator, and it's in the 7th house of partnerships. And that's not romantic partnerships necessarily. It's like how you relate to people that you perceive to be an equal. So it can be creative partners, right? Business partners. Your Jupiter is conjunct the star Alpheratz in the Andromeda constellation. And this adds a really strong thread of liberation and expansion through connection and partnership. So this is really relational. So Andromeda is associated with freedom and sovereignty and breaking out of limitation. So with your
Mm.
Jupiter
Mm.
here,
Mm.
just
Mm.
your presence, it expands other people. You naturally inspire people to think bigger, to step into their independence, and to claim more of who they are. And in the 7th house, this often shows up through your work with others, your clients, your audience, your
Yeah.
collaborations. You're not just in relationship, you activate growth within relationship. And
Mm.
then your Uranus is in the sign of Cancer in the 10th house of career. And Uranus is the planet of rebellion, of disruption, of evolution, of unexpected change. So basically, it speaks to where you decided you were going to stand out and do your own thing in this life.
Mm.
And it's in the sign of Cancer, which is associated with the mother, with nurturing, with community.
Mm.
And
Mm.
in the 10th house, it is conjunct the star Sirius A, which is very much associated with ancient Egypt. Orion is too, by the way. And this is a very powerful innovator signature. Sirius is often associated with higher wisdom and advanced consciousness, and Uranus brings disruption, awakening, and breakthrough. And so, in the 10th house of career and public impact, this tells me that you're here to challenge outdated paradigms, especially around emotional truth, belonging, and what it means to feel safe being fully expressed. You're not here to uphold the old structures, you're here to evolve them. And then finally, your Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So that speaks to your
Mhm.
deepest wounds, which are often ancestral, but also your healing powers when you transmute that wound.
Mm.
Your Chiron is in Sagittarius, which is the spiritual teacher, the adventurer, the explorer. It's in the third house of communication, conjunct the Galactic Center and the star Etemin in the Draco constellation. And so this is incredibly potent. So the Galactic Center is a source of higher truth and cosmic perspective. So it's the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And Chiron represents the wounded healer, as I said. So in the third house of communication, this tells me that your voice has been shaped through your own healing energy and that your words now carry medicine. So Draco Etemin adds a layer of focus and dignity and depth. So you're someone who can speak truth in a way that cuts through illusion and invites people into a higher level of awareness.
Mm.
So when I look at all of this together, I see someone who is here to liberate through truth, lead through vision, and transform through communication. So you're not just sharing ideas, you're
Mm.
helping
Mm.
people reorient their lives around a deeper sense of sovereignty, a
Mm.
deeper sense of self trust. And so your chart really reflects this energy of someone who helps others break free, not just from external limitations, but from internal ones as well. And
Mm.
I think it just makes so much sense that your work right now is centered around liberation because your chart says when you speak, when you lead, and when you share your perspective, you naturally open doors for others to step through into a more expanded version of themselves. So I know that was a lot.
Well, it's
How is this
wonderful.
landing for you?
I mean, it's like, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like it makes me make sense to myself. If you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like it makes me make sense to me. Like, okay, this is why I feel that way. This is just simply who I am. It's how I'm wired, you know. I loved it. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
so
for that.
welcome. Yeah, and
Mm.
thank you for trusting me, letting me
Mhm.
look at your galactic placements. I mean, so much is in a birth chart. It's a really intimate thing. So, yeah,
Mhm.
just thank you
Mhm.
for trusting me to
Mhm.
look at all this
Mhm.
information.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
You're
honor.
you're multi-galactic. You are absolutely multi-galactic, but you definitely have a soul connection to Sirius and a soul
Mm.
connection to the Orion frequency. And I know that they're both connected to a number of ancient civilizations, but the ones that really jump at me are ancient Egypt. So
Mm.
I don't know if
Mm.
you've ever felt connected to that
Mm. Mm.
civilization.
Mm. Mm.
That was coming through strongly.
I have to some degree, but not, I haven't really moved into it. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
know. I want to go to Egypt.
I do too.
God, that would be so great. Well, so, okay, if people want to work with you, would you say that TikTok is the best place to get in contact? Where would you
Yeah,
direct people? Should they go there
I
to your
will direct
website?
people to my website and contact me through there, or just simply my email address, which is Francesca at Francesca-James.com. You know, easy.
Okay. I love it. All right. Well, so before we wrap, I have
Mhm.
one last question for you that I ask all of my guests. And I asked you
Mhm.
this before about a year ago, but I ask again because these things change. What are the new patterns that you're passing down to your descendants and your children, grandchildren? You've broken cycles, you've broken patterns, but what are the new cycles you're going to start?
New cycles that I'm going to start. I don't know the answer to that question. New cycles, because is it new? You know,
Right? Or what are you bringing back that was lost?
myself.
Hmm.
Because, I do this work because I did get lost. I do this work because as much as I was from a child connected to my inner self, I was very quiet, well behaved, all the things. And so what I have brought back is that part of me that's like, what's that saying? Well-behaved women never make history.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be well-behaved. I'm not trying. That's the thing that's new is I just say whatever comes out of my mouth. And sometimes it surprises me, like, oh, you know, because it's there to be said. I hold back. And I think my daughters, I have two daughters, one's 41, the other one's 38. The 38-year-old is the mother of the 10-month-old, the 41-year-old is the mother of the 15-year-old. And I think they finally have gotten used to that from me because I just say whatever comes and more and more and more now because I feel like if it's there to be said, it's to be said. It's not for me to think about and go. So I just let it come out of my mouth and land how it lands. And then if we need to discuss it, we discuss it. And I talk to everybody. Wherever I am, I'm just talking to people and we connect. There's just this connection thing that happens with people because a lot of people are afraid to talk to people that they don't know, to be in a space and actually have a conversation with a lot of people. I'm like, why are you uncomfortable about that? Because everybody wants to talk. I've never had anyone look at me like, "Ugh," or dismiss me. People want to engage and want to talk. And maybe they want to engage and talk with me. I don't know. But I just feel like I'm very less layered, maybe, than I used to be. I'm like an open book. More than I've ever been in my life, I am an open book. I hide nothing. This is the truth of who I am. You want to know? I will tell you.
I
Which
love it.
makes like I have some young clients, young, like early 20s, late teens, and they talk to me about all kinds of stuff that they might not talk to an older person about. And I'm not judging anything. Let's talk about it. So I'm an open book more than ever. That's the new cycle. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And that was beautiful. I love it. A cycle of authenticity, of speaking freely, speaking what's on your mind.
Hmm.
Yeah, very
Hmm.
powerful. Well,
Yeah.
Francesca, this has been so fun.
Yes, Heather.
I'm excited for us to schedule our Substack live. So we
Me
will
too. I
we will
can't wait.
figure that out soon and then I will also put that information in the show notes. But this has been
Mm,
fabulous.
yes.
You are very special to me. I'm very honored to know you and I know this class is going to be
Same here.
fabulous.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh my
I'm looking
god.
forward to this class. I haven't taught it for a while, so it'll be good.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you again. Have a great day, and we will see you next time on the Cycle Starters podcast. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Francesca.
Bye.